This is Decision Weather, America's weather streaming channel. Meteorologist Sramek with the High Plains Changing Times Ag Weather Report. No, it's not deja vu. It was just an active Groundhog Day and weekend. As last week at this time, we talked about potentially seeing some changes in the drought monitor maps in major growing regions of the country due to 2 weeks of snow, ice, and rain in the plains, Midwest, and Southeast. And like that, last week's February 1st release of the drought monitor did in fact show 1 to 3 categories of change in those growing regions of the country, with the most change being in the Gulf subtropical crop belt near the boot of Louisiana and southern Mississippi. Also, the lower 48 contiguous United States had the lowest total coverage of drought since a 4-week period from mid-May to early June of 2023. That's when the water taps shut off last summer and this past fall, and El Nino returned. So in reality, we have to go all the way back to the June 16, 2020 map to see lower amounts of drought for a consistent period. And that was just before the Pacific Ocean entered back into La Nina state with cooler than normal southern Pacific sea surface temperatures and sent heat and dryness into the plains southeast for the last 2 growing seasons, affecting most agricultural crops in those regions. Since we received Thanksgiving snow, precipitation anomalies have been around normal locally and for nearly all the areas of the country from New Mexico and Colorado, northeast into Minnesota and points eastward. And since the new year, we have seen a Midwest plains blizzard, a polar vortex from West Canada all the way to the Gulf, a Midwest ice storm, and flooding in the southeast. Then we concluded last week and over the weekend with an atmospheric river event dumping 3, 4, and 5 inches of rain on California, 2 to 4 feet of snow in the Sierras and the Rockies, 10 to 15 inches of snow on the Front Range in Denver, foothills, and the Palmer Divide, and a record 1/2 inch to 2.5 inches of February rain that fell on most of the remaining drought areas in the plains, south and east of a line from Pierre, South Dakota to Lincoln, Nebraska, all the way to Paducah and Nashville, Kentucky and Tennessee areas. Here locally, we saw weekend rainfall records be broke in Goodland, Hill City, and Burlington, with all those monitors ranging anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1 inch of precipitation in that 24-hour period on Saturday. And for the entire weekend, we saw amounts upwards to 1.5 inches in those most pressing drought areas in Sheridan, Decatur counties, Graham and Norton counties, to the south of Waukene and western Logan County, and out in Kit Carson County along I-70 in eastern Colorado. Now that most of the local area in the country is moving into surplus of moisture and starting to see topsoil and subsoil moistures being replenished, we can officially say this winter is a wet one, and for the rest of the winter after Groundhog Day through the March of Ides, it looks like it will continue to be just as wet with a very active pattern to include another atmospheric river event that is dumping flooding rain in Southern California yesterday and today, with rain totals in the LA area nearing 5 inches, and another 5 to 6 feet of snow in the Sierras, both unbelievable records for those regions. So with more snow and feet heading towards the Rockies tomorrow and Wednesday, we will see another Colorado low swing out of the Denver region Wednesday night and Thursday and take a track north and east into the northern plains and upper Midwest in the week. This will replace the high pressure that had the Midwest shut off for moisture with record-breaking heat last week and starting this week 10 to 30 degrees above normal, with 50 and 60 degree temperatures all the way from Canada to the Gulf. All while another Pacific storm will follow this weekend, taking a more El Nino south route through western Texas with some upslope snow locally. It'll take off to the east through Missouri and the middle Mississippi and Atlantic regions, with more showers and thunderstorms to the southeast. And behind that system and after Valentine's Day, weather models and teleconnects are indicating that a ridge will build out in the Pacific, and that will open up the central U.S. and the east for another surge of polar air to end the month and head into the month of March. So the roller coaster ride in temperatures from record warm to record cold could likely continue, and we'll all be waiting to see what March will bring, when most generally that's the time of year we see the big spring blizzards and Colorado lows move through the Midwest. That concludes this week's Changing Times High Plains Ag Weather Report, and the team of meteorologists here at America's Weather Streaming Channel wants everybody to prepare for severe weather season when AWSC goes live on YouTube across the country and in our local area with severe weather coverage. So now in February, take advantage of our forecasting service. Sign up to receive those daily emails that include personalized, detailed 5 to 10 day outlooks, answering the questions of how much, when, and where, winter and severe storm updates. And make sure you go to myweathernow.com, get subscribed, follow our videos, because that's where all the action will be this severe weather season.